Hello everyone, and welcome back! In today's video, we'll continue our character controller session, which began with simple character movement and jumping mechanics in our previous video. In this video, we will see how to make a 2D character crouch. This video will be the continuation of our character movement video. If you haven't watched it yet, please check it out as well. I will put the link in the description and in the pin card as well. Let's get into the video. As we demonstrated in our previous video, our character can now move and jump correctly. Let's first create a separate script for crouching. We could also do it in the same script, but let's separate them to make the ideas more clear. Name it as Crouch Script. Select our player. As you can see, we've already attached the player controller script we made for movement in our previous video. Now let's drag our crouch script onto it, and let's open it. We'll make a vector2 variable to store the player's starting height. Get the starting height into the normal height variable in our start method so that, when the game begins, it will have its normal height to use in our update method for resetting the crouch. Now let's go back to Unity. Start by selecting the proper height for crouching. As you can see, our player's body size is changing from its center, and we don't want that. Let's start making some adjustments so that our player's height can change from the bottom. Create an empty game object and give it the name Player Sprite. Then select our character object and copy its sprite component. Select our newly created Player Sprite object, right-click on any component. We only have one, so right-click on that, and then paste the component as new. As you can see, the player image is copied here. Let's resize it properly. Then click on the character and remove its sprite component because we don't need it anymore. Finally, let's drag our player sprite object inside the character to make it its child. Now select a character, and in Inspector, select here to choose a gizmo. Now we can see its position in the scene more clearly. Now let's select all its child objects and move them up. Now adjust its collider. Let's try to change its scale now. You can see now that our player scale is changing from its bottom as we want. Go back to the script. Let's make a float variable for crouch height and save the script. Now let's see what height of player we want if it's crouching. I think this value is good enough. Let's copy that value and set the crouch height value in this field. Reset the player's height. Let's start with the crouch script. Let's check for vertical inputs in our script inside the update method. Just like the horizontal axis, the vertical axis also returns 1 and -1 for upward and downward direction. Now let's check to see if Y input is less than 0, which means we are pressing the down button or S button on the keyboard. If Y input is less than 0, let's change the player's height to crouch height. Let's reset the vertical height if you're not pressing it. Now hit play. Okay, our player is now crouching if we are pressing the down arrow. Now our basic crouch system is ready, but we want to set some constraints to make it a realistic crouch. Let's see some of the things on our to-do list that we are going to do. Disable crouching if the player is not on the ground. Prevent the player from jumping or standing up while under any object. Let's do this one by one. To do this, first open our player controller script and make this as ground variable public so we can access it from the crouch system. And open the crouch script. Create a variable of type player controller. Let's go inside the update method. Here, add a condition. If the player is on the ground, then only go inside this if block. Let's go back to Unity, select character, drag player controller script into the player field of crouch script. Now hit play. Wow! Now if I am not on ground, I am not able to crouch. I am only able to crouch if I am on ground. Now let's move on to the next step, which is preventing the player from standing up while under any object. To do this, let's first select our character and create an empty child object as a head check. Now move it to the bottom of the player. Now let's open our crouch script. Here, let's create a transform variable for head check, a float variable for getting ray length, and a last layer mask variable for getting ground mask. let's see what we're going to do. First, we'll cast a ray from the player's bottom to see if we have any objects on top of us, and if it does, we'll keep our player crouching. Now let's go to the crouch script. Here, let's create a new method with the name headDetect. First, let's cast a ray from head check position. First parameter should be the position from where we want to start the ray. The second parameter is the direction, which is our up direction. The third parameter is the length of the ray, and the last parameter is the layer mask of the ground to filter out ground collision. Here, let's return this hit boolean from this function. Now, let's go to our update method. Check if the player has something over his head, and then add another condition in this if statement, whether the player pressed a key or is hitting from the head, then start crouching and save the script. Now in OnDraw Gizmos, let's draw the ray to see our ray in scene view. Now let's go to Unity. First, drag the headCheck object into the headCheck field of the crouch script. Next, change the length to see a ray in the scene. As you can see, we have a ray. Let's adjust it using the variable we defined in crouch script. This length is enough. Don't forget to make the ground object's layer masks as ground. Select character, and here, select layer mask as ground. Come on, let's play. Okay, so even if I'm not holding a down key, if our player is underneath anything, it won't stand up. Yes, our crouching system is now completed. I appreciate that you are watching this until end. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments section and I will respond. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to our channel for more excellent content like this, and please tell your friends about it as well. See you in the next video, stay happy, and have a nice day!